So here we have 2019 paper 2 question 4. So the circle C is enclosed in the square PQRS and touches all four sides as shown in the diagram. The coordinates of three of the vertices are P, which are 2, 3, or which are 4, 17, and S, which is minus 4, 11. So find the coordinates of Q. So we know that the movement from S, which is minus 4, 11, will be equal to the movement on the opposite side. So if we look at the distance in the x's from minus 4 to 4, that we can see that that is a jump of 8. And then if we look at the distance then on the y's from 11 to 17, and we can see that that is plus 6. So if that movement is 8 on the x's and 6 on the y, that means that P to Q are going to be the same. So when I look at Q and P, so P started off at 2, 3, and then Q has new coordinates now that we're finding out. So here we're adding 8 onto 2 because it's going to have the same amount of jumps. So that is 10. And then on the y then we added 6. So we're going to add 6 here as well. So 3 add 6 here is 9. So that means that as a result, your point Q here is 10, 9. Okay, and that is part A. For part B then, I'm just going to fill in 10, 9 here. For part B, they want you to find the coordinates of the center of C. So the center is going to be in here. Okay, and the only way that you are going to find that center is by finding the midpoint of these two coordinates. The reason why I'm asking you to use the midpoint formula is because it finds the middle or the center, and we're going to use or and P instead of S and Q because you found the value Q, so you don't know if that is correct, so use the ones that are on the diagram. So if or is 4, 17, and if P is 2, 3, okay, we're going to use that to find the midpoint. So I'm just going to label them as x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to my formula and tables and write down the formula. So capital M for midpoint. So I add the x's and I halve them, and I add my y's and I halve them. So that is x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. And as a result, to find your center then, so we're going to do 4 add 2 divided by 2, and then we're going to do 17 plus 3, and we're going to divide that by 2. So your midpoint then, so 4 add 2 is 6, divided by 2 is 3, and 17 add 3 is 20, add 2 is 10. So that is your center. Okay, so 310 is your center. If we go on to the next part then, so I'm just going to put in 310 here in case I need it. So to find the length of the radius, okay, so I'm trying to find the length of the radius of this circle. So I'm trying to see what is the distance from here to here, or here to here, or here to here, or here to here. So it really could be anywhere. As you know, the radius goes all the way around, but I'm just joining them to each side of the square just so you can visualize it maybe a little bit better. So I know that the center is 310, but I'm trying to find the length of the radius, and the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is if I know maybe the midpoint of S and or. If I know the midpoint here, then I could use the midpoint from this one, from M, and from this, and use the point of the center then to find the radius of the circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the midpoint of minus 411 and 417. So I'm going to add my x's and half them, and then I'm going to add my y's and I'm going to half them. So that's x1, y1, and that's x2 and y2. So what I'm going to do next is just sub it in. So I have minus 4 plus 4 and then divided by 2, and then I have 11 plus 17 and divided by 2, and that will give me my midpoint. So minus 4 add 4 is 0, 0 divided by 2 is 0, 11 add 17 is 28, 28 divided by 2 is 14. Okay, so that means that that here now is 0, 14. So what I'm going to do now is using 0, 14 and 310, I'm going to use the distance formula to find the length of the radius. So this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2. And I'm going to put them into the distance formula. So x2 minus x1 to be squared plus y2 minus y1 to be squared. I'm using the L for length or distance. And then that is, sorry, that's meant to be, so that's meant to be the square root. And then we have 3 minus 0 to be squared plus 10 minus 14 to be squared. So 3 minus 0 is 3, 3 to be squared is 9, and then 10 minus 4 is 4, 4 to be squared is 16. So that means that L is equal to the square root of 25, which is equal to 5. So that means that the radius is 5 centimeters. So for the next bit then, what I need to do is find the equation of the circle. So your equation of the circle is in your formula and tables. So it's x minus h to b squared plus y minus k to b squared is equal to your radius squared. So from the previous question, we knew that the radius was 5, and we knew that the center was 310. I'm just double checking that the center was 310, so 4, 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3, and then 20 divided by 2 is, yeah, so 310 was your center in the last question. So remember that your center is the same as h and k. So I'm going to sub them into my equation. So now I can say that x minus 3 to be squared plus y minus 10 to be squared is equal to 5 squared. So I'm just subbing in the radius there, and I am just subbing in the center of 3 and 10. And the good news is you don't need to expand these brackets here. So x minus 3 to be squared plus y minus 10 to be squared is equal to 25. And that is your equation of the circle C then.